Hey, it's Jenna Ryan from the internhustle.com, and in today's video, I am sharing my top internship interview advice. Whether you have interviews coming up or you're hoping to line up some interviews in the near future, the 5 tips that I'm sharing in today's video will help you approach your interviews with more confidence and hopefully increase your chances of landing the internship. Hey there, I'm Jenna Ryan from the internhustle.com, and this is Initiative Muscle Monday, helping you to start each week with an intentional step toward a successful future. Let's do this. Now, before we jump into my interview tips, I want to make sure that we're on the same page. Have you already put in the effort to put your best self forward in the application process? If not, I'm going to need you to back up and watch my videos on optimizing your resume. And while you're there, you should absolutely download my free resume checklist to help you out. You can check things off to build and refine your resume to make sure that you're hitting all the key points and not making stupid errors that might cost you the interview. Okay, once you have a solid resume that you feel good about and you've applied to various internship opportunities and then followed up with those opportunities, then you're at a point where the interview requests are going to start to come in. And hopefully, you've scored an interview or two. That's a big win, but you're not done yet. How you show up and perform at the interview is so important. So, without further ado, my 5 tips to help you ace the interview and land the internship. Number 1, you gotta arrive early, but not too early. So it's super important that you are punctual for your interview. And to me, that includes being about 10 minutes early to check in at the front desk, use the bathroom, do what you gotta do. However, please do everyone a favor and don't show up more than 15 minutes early. If you get there too early, you put the burden on the employer or the person who's at the front desk, so just hang outside if you have to and don't make them feel rushed or have the need to entertain you before they're ready to meet with you. Next, it's important that you take first impressions seriously. So for my second tip, I'm talking about what you wear and the confidence that you carry yourself with. You want to dress to impress. And I don't care if you're headed into a startup that has hoodies on all day. You don't. You're there for an interview, and you should be dressed like a business professional. And if there is only one thing that you remember from these interview tips, please let it be the importance of a solid handshake. Have some pride, stand up when you greet someone, and shake their hand like you mean it. Call it a pet peeve of mine, but I have a really hard time taking someone seriously throughout their interview if they gave me a princess handshake. Now, if you arrive on time and you deliver a killer first impression, but you're not prepared for the interview, then you've just wasted everyone's time. So tip number 3 is be prepared. First, I want you to be prepared with a few copies of your resume and your cover letter and references. Have all of those on hand with you. And pro tip, make sure that they're versions that you created for this specific opportunity. I'm not kidding. I have been given cover letters directed to other companies before. So just don't be that person. The interview is also a great opportunity for you to hand over a student business card if you have one. Second, I want you to look up common interview questions and practice your answers. Know what you want to say so that when it comes out, it's natural and it's not awkward silence with a lot of ums and likes and you-knows. And really important here, know your why. Why do you want this internship? You got to get below the surface level with this question and really give an answer that's tailored to the company that you're meeting with. And do your research. I want you to research the company and the people that you're going to be meeting with. People like to talk about themselves. So if you can demonstrate that you've done your research on them and use that throughout the interview, you're going to get bonus points for that. And always have questions to ask them. Never, ever say, nah, I'm good, when they ask you, so, do you have any questions for me? I have a video all about questions that you should be asking at your interviews, so go check that out right after this one. Now, assuming that you've prepared well and you rock the interview, it is super important that you follow up. So, tip number 4, follow up. Starting with the interview itself, I want you to close the loop. Don't miss your opportunities to ensure follow-up success here. It's more than okay to ask what next steps are and when you can expect to hear back from them. So be sure that you get that in as your final question or as you're wrapping things up in the interview. And don't be afraid to ask for business cards from each person that you meet with. At the very least, get their email address so that you can follow up and connect with them one-on-one in the future. And always send a thank you note. Now, I prefer handwritten because people get so many emails these days. The physical note in the mail, it just goes a long way. But at the very least, make sure that you send an email thanking them for their time. And pro tip, if you are sending a thank you note in the mail, write the thank you note and drop it in the mail the day of your interview so that they don't go too long without hearing from you. And make sure that you personalize each note, whether it's a physical note or an email, to each person that you meet with. Mention things that you've talked about, some of the highlights or takeaways from your conversation with each of them, and reaffirm your interest in the internship. And my final piece of internship interview advice for you today is to take the time to personally reflect on the interview. No matter how prepared you were for the interview, chances are you didn't handle everything perfectly. Give yourself the gift of honest and immediate feedback. Within the first hour after your interview, I want you to pull out your phone and just type up some notes on how you think things went. So what went well? How could you improve for the next interview? And what's a question that stumped you that you need to develop a better answer for in the future? Commit to capturing your thoughts before you forget them. You will be so happy to have these notes on hand when you're prepping for your next interview. The interview is your time to shine. Use these tips to prepare and enter each interview with confidence. Then show how prepared you are and engage with the people that you're meeting with. Don't let them leave the interview wishing that they could get the last 30 minutes of their life back. If this video gave you some new insights today, please give it a like and share it with a friend or two. Subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss out on future videos by hitting that red subscribe button below. And don't forget to grab your free copy of my resume checklist that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. Simply click the link in the description below and it's going to be sent straight to your inbox. In support of your hustle, I'll see you next Monday.